Hello, welcome back to the channel. We're doing Mandalorian reviews again. I really like the first season. I've just watched episode 1 of season 2. Ladies and gents, we're going to talk non-spoilers first, and we're going to get into full spoilers, but I'll give you fair warning, so please don't worry. It's good to be back. I really enjoyed this episode. It's a good episode to come back into the universe with as well. So it's called The Marshal, right? We open with Mandalorian with a flashback, essentially a quick recap, which I think was good. I think it was a good recap to do. And basically Mandalorian is following on from where we left off. He is in search of the child kind, so the little Yoda's kind, the alien race that we still don't know actually what they're called. And he's looking basically to track down another Mandalorian. Makes sense, you know. He says, well, if I can find more of my kind, then I'll be able to navigate where this is and figure out how to get there. So his path crosses over with some kind of, seedy underworld type people, and then takes him back to Tatooine, where he has to partner with the Sand people and some local people to basically take down a certain monster that's terrorizing a village, and that's kind of the rough plot. So basically he's in search of another Mandalorian on Tatooine. So those who know anything about Star Wars will probably know kind of roughly what's happening and what they're teasing or where they're going with it. I'm not going to go into spoilers and reveal anything until we get to spoilers, but that's the overview. What this series does so well is just that spaghetti western style. And I feel like this whole season is going to be tracking down maybe Mandalorians on a whole and then looking to kind of push it to finding the alien race of Yodas and that sort of thing. And I really like that. And it struck me as well whilst I was watching this episode that this episode was almost more like Star Trek than current Star Trek. If that makes any sense? Basically, how we approach the world and how the character, barters with alien races to bring out peace and, a unity between alien races that would normally be against one another. It was very Star Trek in that feel, and it worked really, really well. I really liked it. So, let's get into just the rough overview of what I liked and what I disliked. I think some people will be looking at this episode as quite a large, slow-paced episode, but I did feel it was necessary. I think it had to be quite a slow pace. I think it's important when you're diving back into the world to allow people that breathing space to gauge their expectations again. Because I went into this going, I love this, I'm ready to go. And I think you need to have your expectations gauged on what's going to happen, because the flow of the series is not the same as it got to at the end of the last season, right? When you build a season and you build an overarching narrative, it goes and builds to that rough peak at the end. So it just ramps up and ramps up. So you have to start slow again, because otherwise it's too much. So I think some people will probably think that this is a little bit too slow, but I really did enjoy that, actually. I like the fact that it is a slow pace. It's not slow, but it's a slow pace. And it's nice. Like, it's good. There was a lot of Easter eggs. There was pod racing engine remanufactured into a speeder bike. That was really, really cool. And then there's a whole other Easter eggs that I can't really get into until spoilers. But if you've seen it, yeah, you'll know what I'm talking about. Oh, it was good. The music was good. The effects were a little bit wonky in part, right? And but they're no different. They're no different to the first season's effects, where the effects on the first season were a little bit wonky in part. I really like the Mandalorian, but the effects are not as groundbreaking as they are. Sometimes they get a little bit let down, and sometimes in this episode they were a little bit let down. We had returning favourites. They're not favourites, are they? But we had returning characters. If you remember in the last season, when it was on Mandalorian, and he put his ship in that engine, in that sort of docking bay, where the droids, didn't like the droids, and there was that woman that looked after the child. She came back, and that was really, really nice. I think R3, I'm fairly certain R3 is an Easter egg. R3 turned up, and that's basically it. But that's as non-spoiler as I can get to while sort of discussing it. It's good to be back. The costumes are great. The effects on a whole are really, really good. I like it. Like, I genuinely like this series. I've got nothing but positive things to really say on a whole. Whew, boy, how it ended. No spoilers. I cannot wait to see what happens next week. Oh my lord. I'm bringing it back. Oh my lord. Seriously, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So anyway, if you've seen it, because we're going to get on to spoilers now, but if you've seen it, let me know your thoughts down below. And if you have seen it, or if you haven't seen it, are you going to watch it? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? All that good stuff. Just leave your thoughts down below. It helps the algorithm. It helps me out because YouTube sucks and hates my channel and all that kind of crap. But here's your spoiler warning. And we're going to get on to spoilers now, right? So there you go. Spoiler warning at like the halfway mark or roughly 5-minute mark, whatever. Oh, boy, do they tease some Boba Fett in this. Oh, Boba is teased. Unbelievable. So he goes to Tatooine, and I instantly, I think everyone knows that this was going to happen. You know, he's hunting down another Mandalorian, and he hears that there's one on Tatooine. Obviously, everyone's thinking it's going to be Boba Fett. And so he gets there. He gets to this Mos Peglo or something like that. I can't remember its name. But basically he goes to another little village in Tatooine. And it's being run by the Marshal. The Marshal protects the village, protects the town. And he's wearing armor. He's wearing Boba Fett's armor. And it is Boba Fett's armor. So anyone that said in the Season 2 trailer, oh, it's Boba Fett's armor, they were completely right. Like, it is Boba Fett's armor. And it's worn by Timothy Olyphant, and he's a great actor. And boy, does he look dumb in that armor, because he's not bulky. He's quite a lanky dude. Boy, does he look dumb in that armor. He's got the big old bobble head and doesn't have the proper shoulder pads for it. He does look a bit dumb. And I did think for a second, I was like, ooh. But then you can tell with the walk and everything, it's definitely not Boba Fett. And I was listening, and I was like, can I hear the spurs? I can't hear the spurs. So I knew it wasn't Boba Fett, and we heard him talk, and it wasn't Boba Fett. It was Timothy Olyphant. So that's where all the rumours came from, that he was going to be Boba Fett. No, he was just in the armour. And basically, they have to make a bargain. Mando and the Marshal have to make a bargain, because Mando's like, you're not Mandalorian. Take that armour off. Give it to me now. And Timothy's like, no, let's do out for it then. Let's duel out for it. And then a big rumble happens, and a crate dragon appears, and that's basically how they have to work together. And then they have to partner up with the Tusken Raiders, the Sand People. And it was really nice. It was good to see. The Sand People sound effects were good, if a little overused, but they were good, and it was good to see them back. It was quite funny. You know, one of them, like, oh, they've studied its sleep pattern, they've studied this, they've studied that, and it leads a Bamfer out, and boom, just eats the Tusken Raider. The Crate Dragon comes out the old Sarlacc pit, which is interesting because they make a point of saying, I've never seen an abandoned Sarlacc pit, and they're like, yeah, it is if it's eaten. So obviously the Crate Dragon ate the Sarlacc, and then stole its pit, which was just a cave. So I don't really know how that works, but whatever. So they have to partner up, and Mando barters between Marshal and the Tusken Raiders. And that's my point about it feeling more Star Trek than Star Trek. That's sort of, you know, learning from me and being better for it, you know. That's, I don't know, it just feels a bit more like that than normal. So I really like that. I thought it was good. And then the child's good. He's not really in it that much this episode, but he wasn't really in it that much in the previous episodes in terms of his actions, you know, doing all the stuff. It's good. I'm glad they didn't go balls to the wall. That's really, really smart. Why? Because everyone's got, or everyone had anyway, the child fever. Everyone's like, oh my god, the child's so cute, it's so cool, blah, 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 blah. And it's good not to succumb to that and fall to that pressure, because undoubtedly it would just be pressure that they'd be falling into. And fall into that trap of just overuse. And they didn't, and it was really, really good. So anyway, they have to team up. They have to go and destroy the Crate Dragon together with the townsfolk who don't want to. There was a bit of contrived argument between some of the townsfolk and some of the Tusken Raiders, but whatever, it's forgivable. This is for children as well, so it's definitely forgivable. And then, there's another cool Easter egg, is that they jetpack off because their plan fails and the Crate Dragon like gets the better of them and seemingly spits acid, I think, which is quite cool. And it gets the better of them, so they jetpack off to go and shoot it. And then Mando has a plan, and he goes, I've got a plan, protect the child. And he hits Timothy Olyphant's, the Marshal's, jetpack, and he flies off. And I was like, that's an Easter egg to when Boba Fett died. And I like that. That was good fun. So anyway, lots of Easter eggs. They kill the crate dragon, and then he gets the armor, and he rides off into the sunset. That's basically the episode. Not a lot happens, and it is a slow pace. It's 50-odd minutes, and it is a slow pace. But it needed it. And then who watches Mandalorian driving off into the distance on a speeder? Well, it's the actor, Temuera Morrison, who played Boba Fett, but also played Captain Rex, who played all the clones, basically. But he's scarred. He's very, very scarred, and I'm thinking it's Boba Fett from what I can see, because when he walked, he's got the spurs. If you listen again, he has the spurs. It's that spur sound, the chink, chink, chink each time he steps. So I'm thinking it's going to be Boba Fett, unless it's Captain Rex, the clone, that tracked Boba Fett because he knows that he's another clone to Tatooine. But I think this whole season is going to be building towards trying to find Boba Fett, or at least finding Boba Fett and then moving past him. But that's going to be an integral part of it for a little bit. And I like that. I think that's good. Now, where this episode leaves off is literally just, Temuera Morrison turning. Us not knowing if it's Boba Fett or not, but it probably being Boba Fett. And then, obviously, Mando just riding off into Tatooine in the distance. Now, we know from the trailer that undoubtedly the next episode is going to be spent on Tatooine. It has to be, because we have seen Mando driving the speedster with Boba Fett's armor in tow, and it's exactly the same, logistics of where we've just finished the episode. So we know that the next episode has to be on Tatooine, and I think it will be Boba Fett chasing after him. I think so. Anyway, I don't know. But there you go. I really liked it. I like the music. I like the whole episode. I think it's good. The practical effects are great. There's just some little bit wonky stuff here and there, but I can forgive it. And now that I know it's filmed on literally one stage, all with LEDs and stuff like that, for the most part, big screens and movable stages and all that kind of crap, I am watching out for it. I'm looking for it because I'm just so fascinated by it. And it's very difficult to tell. So anyway, if you've seen it, let me know your thoughts down below. If you liked it, you disliked it, I'd love to hear. Give this video a big thumbs up, and please do share it, because again, like I said, YouTube does suck. Thank you. Join in next week for another Mandalorian review every Friday. Take care.